Welcome to Body Energetics, evidence-based spirituality to get happy, healthy, and hot. I'm your host, Lauren Saracione, and I've been in fitness for over 22 years. I've also had 3 major healing events where I learned something new and deeper about the mind-body connection. It is my mission to help you get happy, healthy, and hot. So whether you're here for mindset work to get happy, emotional work to get healthy, or owning your desires and who you be to get hot, Body Energetics is for you. Before we get started on today's podcast, I wanted to invite you to make love to food and dieting. This is our first masterclass of the year. It's January 18th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. I'm going to teach you what the patterns are of the attachment styles and how they're showing up in your diet and food, and then the why behind it. Once you know the pattern and the why behind it, you get to be your lover and you get to fill in the gaps that you are using food to do for you. So no more emotional regulation with food. And this is going to help you stick with your diet, which is so important. The consistency is so important to burn fat and get you into your dream body. Go to bodyenergetics.com/secure to sign up. Welcome to Body Energetics episode number 3. This is an evidence episode. If you are brand new here, which you should be because we're brand new, we have several categories of podcast episodes, and this one is the evidence. And the evidence are books and scientists and doctors and all the research that I did to strengthen my belief that I could get happy, healthy, and hot. And in this episode, we are talking about You Can Heal Your Body by Louise Hay. So this book I came across in 2017 when I was avoiding neck surgery. You heard a lot about that on the previous episode with The Divided Mind by Dr. John Sarno. And the difference with this one and Dr. John Sarno is that this one is more simplistic and it's about mantras and the meanings that are held within the body. So Louise Hay, if you don't know already, Louise Hay was a person who was in the spirituality, personal development space. And in her whole career, she discovered that people had similar feelings and old memories that they were dealing with ailments in their body. So shoulder pain, elbow pain, neck pain, head pain, anything that you can think of. She had a mantra or a metaphysical meaning, a spiritual crisis that was happening in that body part that everybody exhibited who had that same problem with the body part. So You Can Heal Your Body is a book that you open vertically. You don't open it horizontally like a regular book. And there's just a list of the body part, the reason, the metaphysical reason for the discomfort or the dysfunction, and then a positive mantra to help you reverse the ailment. So I have this book and I'm like, okay, so I've got a herniated disc between C6 and C7, and it's slightly underneath the C5, C6 disc. They're both torn. What does neck pain mean? And there's a whole part of her book that then breaks down spinal problems. And Louise Hay isn't the only person who has put together this information. This is just the book that I started with at that time. And it was really helpful and it was a really easy read. So anyway, so I look up the meaning of neck pain and all my symptoms. I've got a stiff neck, I've got pain, then I have the actual injury. And so I just looked up all the all the metaphysical problems that came along with that, the crises that came along with it. One of them that I remember so clearly was always looking back. The inability to look forward, that you're constantly looking backward. And that drove me nuts because at the time I was also podcasting Love as a Verb podcast. And I would talk about love. And the premise of the show was interviewing people around the world about the moment they realized loving themselves was essential to life and how they were the change they wished to see in the world. So we would talk about their hero's journey of self-love and changing their life, and then sharing that process with other people in their business. And so it was like, on one hand, I knew this, in theory, I knew I should be thinking and feeling in different ways because of the conversations that I was holding. But in my heart of hearts, like I was miserable in my life where I wasn't happy. And I um was really struggling with the reasons why I wasn't happy. And I was trying to change things that were the root cause of why I wasn't happy, and looking backwards so much that I didn't notice that my life was so out of alignment. And if I had actually made changes to the present moment life experiences, a lot of my pain would have gone away. A lot of my pain would have gone away if I had just made some different life choices in that moment. But I was always looking backward. I'm like, because like there's been a lot of stuff that I've had to work on to release the feelings that I've had around the relationship with my dad. And so I knew at that time there was a lot of daddy issues that were part of it, because I would just like replay in my head like all these things that happened when I was a kid of what I should have done better and what I could have done to, you know, not be so hated, or not be held responsible for the demise of our relationship. Because with my daddy issues, I'm not going to get into all of them, but part of them was I was constantly made responsible for our relationship, even as a 5-year-old. So I've had a lot of emotional responsibility on my shoulders for a very long time. And so when I read this of, not being able to look, or not looking forward, constantly looking back, I'm just like, oh my God, okay. But I started that process of working on that, of like how to actually move forward. And you can heal your body. It kind of it the mantras at the time didn't really feel that helpful. Like it felt like they were so positive and so opposite to what I was struggling with, that they didn't really always land, but it was a start. It was a start for me to understand, to actually put some words to what was happening, because what it did help me see, and this has helped now, and this is going to go into the body energetics coding system episodes, is that it gave me a language to how I was feeling in my suppressed emotion. So the big thing that I think that we can take away, like to lay the evidence for this, is that what I learned is the body is storing what is stored in the mind. Your body is the subconscious mind. So whatever has happened to you, good and bad, is stored energetically within you. So if someone like compliments you on your energy and they're like, love being around you because you make them feel good, you are emanating positive emotion from your body. And that person is experiencing your positive emotion. And the way the body works is that your energetic frequency, that is your whole body, like these lights, how you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see that the reflection of the light with the camera flare, your body is emanating energy like that. So your brain's job is to navigate what energy it is around. That's part of its job as a computer. It's like a Wi-Fi antenna. So your phone is working and showing you images because it's connected to a Wi-Fi signal, and it's taking that frequency and putting an image and a sound to whatever it is that you're watching on your phone. Your brain does the same thing, only instead of a Wi-Fi frequency coming from a tower, it's a frequency emanating from your body. All different body parts is where all these frequencies are stored. So when you are emanating a positive signal to somebody and they feel good in your presence, they are absorbing your positive energy and they are thinking in a positive way. They are experiencing themselves and their mindsets in a positive way because of you. So that's the good part. But then the bad part is when you're like, oh my God, that person's energy is like not my vibe. Like if you feel dirty after you hang out with someone, you just feel like, oh, why am I in a funk now? It's because they're emanating a negative frequency and it's getting on you. So what I learned with this is that because I was so depressed and anxious, right? Like Dr. John Sarno's work made so much sense to me in its inner child primitive of 0 to 3. So I'm formulating in my mind, okay, if I have this deep-seated depression and I have this anxiety that always has me on a hamster wheel because I never feel good enough, and deep down I'm always feels depressed and separate, this is how deep my pain is, right? So because that pain was so deep from 0 to 3, according to his work and my physical manifestations of the emotion, I was a match to it. I feel that doing Louise Hay, using You Can Heal Your Body, and actually looking up the metaphysical reasons for dysfunction in my body parts, it gave me a language to my repressed thoughts and feelings. So it gave me a way to access myself that I had buried, because facing the idea that I was undesired as a child with my dad, that I was the reason for the problems, that I was the problem, to cope, not even to cope because I was unaware of it, to function, I had to remove my connection to myself. But because the connection was still there and the pain was still there, it showed up in the problems that I was having with my body. So when You Can Heal Your Body, I later, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, after this initial introduction to her work, I started to use it as a code to reprogram my thoughts and feelings. So I would look at myself in the mirror and I'd be like, I don't like my fat stomach. I don't like the fat on the sides of my knees. I don't have sexy legs. They're like little stumps. I don't like that I have cankles. I don't like that I have cellulite. I don't like the flab on the back of my arm. Um, I just went through everything that I hated about my body. And I looked up the metaphysical meanings that those body parts held. And I'm like, do I identify with any of these feelings? And I used Google because Louise Hay's book wasn't really enough for me. And I have another book that's about body parts. But I'd use the internet to look up all different spiritual meanings for these body parts that I didn't like. And I would find eventually something that hit where I was like, oh, that's how I think. That's how I think about myself. That's how I think about the world. That's how I feel when I'm in relationships with people. Then I actually had something to work with. So then I was like, okay, so the fat on the back of your arm actually means this, this, and this. The positive mantra is whatever this is. So I would integrate the positive mantra, because your thoughts do become feelings, or your words do become things. But then I also would do the mental emotional work to get to the root of that metaphysical meaning. Some things were easy to change in an instant, where it was like, well, that's like ludicrous. This is stupid. We're all connected to source. So just like get that out of your head. We're connected. Okay, done. And then just work on building the connection through breath work. There was other things where it was like, why do I feel that way? Did someone make me feel bad about myself? Did someone say that if I had this desire to be really fit and athletic, that it made me a bad person, that it made me selfish, that it made me non-inclusive? Like I had a lot of stuff happen, a lot of things that I had to let go of to be able to track macros and diet more and really embrace bodybuilding. I had to be okay with being quote unquote non-inclusive to non-gender conforming communities, to people who weren't petite, white, and fit. There's a lot in the woke culture that says who I am is colonized fitness. I'm the epitome of colonized fitness. And if I get my hair more blonde, I'm going to be even more colonized fitness. Just watch. So there was like a lot that of the body parts that I didn't like. What metaphysical meanings did I make about them based on someone saying, if I became that, everything that I imagined myself to be, how is that harming somebody else? So I had a lot to let go of with that and allow myself to just want what I want. I want to be ripped. I want to have a nice ass. I want to have sculpted shoulders. I want to have a tricep horn. Like, how is any of that stuff making it bad for somebody else? So there was a lot of that I worked through, because when you a lot of the reasons why people aren't getting to their dream body is because of that picture that they have in their head of them in their dream body. At some point, they have judged someone who looks like that, where you're judging whatever it is, like you're doing the judgment. And then also you are perceiving that person as judging you for not looking like them. And they all have a relation to like a spiritual crisis. When you use your body parts, like and heal your body, it can open you up into so many areas between your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual bodies. But it's essentially going to make you healthier, and it's going to give you the intel of why you're not following through to get hot, whatever that is for you. And getting hot to me is not actually the physical aesthetic at all. It's when someone is confident and their energetic signature is like beaming with like, this is who I am and I'm okay with who I am. I have an opinion. I care for you. I respect your divine connection to source. That's not my lane. It's not supposed to be my lane. This is my lane. I'd love to share with you about this. And I'd love to hear your interpretation, what God is. I'd love to hear what your experience of God is. It doesn't have to be what my experience is. Like, that's hot. And there's a spiritual fire that is within you that you can turn on. You can actually turn it on at the base of your root chakra, and you can command it to burn off everything that is not your soul, everything that has just kind of gotten stuck on you through life. So you can heal your body, Louise Hay. That one pretty deep, but you can see now why we have categories for all this. And that you can heal your body is a big part of the body energetics coding system, because in the coding system, you'll see in these episodes that I'm going to teach you with mindset activities. It's in a paid program, but I'll be able to talk about them a little bit on the podcast and kind of get you started on it. There's ways that you can break up your thoughts and feelings and actually start to process some of these metaphysical meanings to help you process what is stored emotionally and mentally in your body that's causing you to either dislike that body part or cause it to not be functioning properly. And when you do the mental emotional work, the actual process that happens is the tension gets freed up because vibrationally you're not all wonky. And chemically, you actually process the molecules of emotion that are stored in these body parts. And your fat is a huge storage system for toxins and degenerative molecules of emotion. So if you got a lot of fat on your body that you don't like, and you actually start paying attention to it, you're going to find out that like that's the part that you need to love the most, because that's the part that's been holding it down for you the hardest. The parts of your body that are deteriorating the most are the ones that have been doing the most incredible. They deserve an award for how much they have been storing your old memories, preventing you from experiencing them. So whatever's not functioning properly, they deserve an award, because they've been holding it down for you so that you consciously don't have to deal with your shit. They are being so good to you. And then the parts that you hate, that you do not like, that make you feel ugly and make you feel unworthy of having like the best sex of your life and the best connection of your life, those parts are holding your feelings. They're protecting your feelings. And those, I think, deserve even more love, because not only are they doing the job to protect your feelings, you are being mean to them. So they're like being doubly abused because they're getting worn out with everything that they have to do to store those molecules of emotions. And then you're treating them like shit. And when you start to understand that this is what your body is doing for you, then you're like, oh my God, I love my body so much. And when you start to love your body and you start to take care of it and you start to understand what it's been telling you your whole damn life, you have such an appreciation for it. And then the self-care that has to happen to get to your dream aesthetic, if you need to lose weight or if you need to put on muscle to get the shape that you want, those things, eating right and working out, become an act of service and an act of self-love and devotion to these parts of you that, I'm going to cry, that have loved you with their whole heart. And it's just, you just haven't noticed. And it's a really beautiful thing. And so that's part of the evidence that you can create this connection within yourself. So that is your episode for You Can Heal Your Body. If you have not gone to bodyenergetics.com, go there now so you can sign up for my newsletter and get the emails for each episode delivered to you. Go to facebook.com/groups/bodyenergetics so that you can join our Facebook community. And every single month we have a deep discussion about all the topics that we covered in the 2 episodes a week for that month. And you get to go into the draw to win my water bottle that has my dragon Aurora on it. She is part of my spiritual self, and she is carrying the heart chakra. And then a really cool mug that I love, that it's 2-toned, black and white, dual thinking. We are both. We are the darkness and the light. And it says Body Energetics. It has really cool swirly lights on it. So thank you so much for being here. We will see you on the next episode. And here's to being happy, healthy, and hot. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you found it helpful, please head over and give us a 5-star rating and leave a review for how this was helpful for you. This is going to help me spread the word faster into more people who need this information to self-heal. Join us at facebook.com/group/bodyenergetics, where we have discussions about the episodes. Go to bodyenergetics.com so that you can sign up for my newsletter to make sure that you never miss an episode. And that's the place that you're going to get invited to our Zoom discussion that we have every single month. Tag us on social media, Body Energetics, and we will reshare your tag and enter you into our monthly drawing to win our really cute water bottle or our really cool mug.